the parent and the parenting. In this series, we'll be looking at this topic from the scriptural perspective, trying to understand what we can learn from others on how they manage this aspect of their lives. Everyone in this world has either gone through the parenting phase or is going through the parenting phase. You either been parented or you are parenting. So this message is going to be a blessing to all because it gives us the opportunity to learn from what we've experienced, what we are experiencing, and what we are going to experience in the future by the grace of God. So I will start today by talking about the person and the process. By proper delineation of the person and the process, we'll be able to have better understanding of what we can learn from the scripture, of what examples that the scripture gives us on how people have done well and what they did not do well. So the parent is the person, and the parenting is the process. So a bad parent or a good parent does not translate to a bad parenting or a good parenting. And I will use two good examples to illustrate this from the scriptures. When you look at somebody like Saul, the Bible made us understand that Saul was a very dangerous person. Let me use that word. Or let me say a bad person, in quotes now. So when you look at what he did to David for doing nothing against him, what he did to the priests of God, because he had some issues with them, you know that yes, he can be very atrocious when it comes to the way he deals with people. But that same Saul was able to raise Jonathan, who fought war for Israel. So you can see that if you look at Saul in terms of being a bad person, or bad parent as a person, he was able to raise his children to actually fight wars for Israel. He was able to raise reliable children. So we can say a bad person parented good children. Another example from the scriptures would be somebody like David. David, we know, is a lover of God. God has testimony of him, and he did very well throughout his reign as king in Israel. So we can take David to be a good person. But when you look at his parenting skill, he had a lot of weaknesses there. There was no one that David was able to raise among his children that was able to take over the reign of the kingdom and transfer it to the next generation without issues. Solomon that ended up being the king after him. The Bible said when he died, the people have been so terrified that they just waited for him to die. And when his son became king, they went to the son and said, "Your father was pain unto us. We want you to relieve our pain." And at the end of the day, the kingdom was divided because of what happened after David died. So David wasn't, when it comes to parenting, we wouldn't say he was very successful. So we can see an example of a good person not being good when it comes to parenting. So there are four categories that you can actually have. You can have a good parent that has good parenting skill. You can have a good parent that has bad parenting skills. You can have a bad parent that has good parenting skills. And you can also have a bad parent that has bad parenting skills. We'll be looking at different examples from the scriptures. Please follow me on this journey, and it will definitely be a blessing to you.